My dear friends, I invite you to brew a cup of hot tea, or perhaps one that has cooled slightly, just enough for your heart to settle, so that we may converse. How long has it been since you truly sat down and listened to the deepest voice within yourself? As we cross the threshold of 55 or 60, life suddenly slows down like a river in autumn. It no longer rushes with the turbulent currents of youth, but becomes quiet and alarmingly clear. And it is precisely in that stillness that we begin to realize the things that throughout a busy lifetime we have either forgotten or deliberately avoided. The first feeling that we often recognize most clearly as we enter this stage of life is solitude. It is not necessarily the loneliness of missing loved ones, but a more philosophical kind of solitude. The children have grown, they have their own lives, and the old family nest suddenly feels vast and empty. We look at the familiar house and suddenly see it as a garment that is now too large for our current frame. We feel like passengers nearing the final stop, watching the hurried faces at the station platform, rushing to catch other trains. What you must understand is that the solitude of one's twilight years is a gift from the universe, compelling us to face ourselves. It is not a punishment, but an invitation to learn how to befriend our own shadows, to learn how to warm our souls with beautiful memories, with quiet joys that require no witness. Is it not true that our whole lives we have lived for others, and now is the time we are finally allowed to live fully for ourselves, even if we are alone? And as that solitude settles, it leads us to the second truth, the letting go of ambition and the burden of expectation on our children. We suddenly realize that the things we were once most proud of, the titles, the achievements we exchanged for our health and time, are now just old yellowing certificates tucked away in a drawer. The proud ego of our youth is now as fragile as a dry leaf in the wind. There is such a relief in realizing that we no longer need to prove anything to anyone. More importantly, it is about learning to release the weight of expectations from the shoulders of our children and grandchildren. We have been the best parents we could be. We sowed the best seeds within our capabilities. The rest of their lives is their own journey, where they must find their own light and their own shadows. Love is not about holding on, but about watching them fly away with their own free wings. Accepting that our lives and the lives of our descendants are two parallel lines, intersecting in love, but not a single line bound by unending responsibility. The final truth, perhaps the most painful, yet the most liberating, is the true meaning of relationships. As we reach this age, the circle of friends and social contacts rapidly shrinks. We no longer have the energy to maintain superficial ties, purely social gatherings, and we no longer wish to wear masks. We only keep those few people with whom we can sit in silence without exchanging a word, and still feel peaceful and understood. We realize that true friends are not those who raised a glass with us at boisterous parties, but the ones who sit quietly beside us when the tea has gone cold. Quantity no longer matters. What matters is the quality, the sincerity we can find in the eyes of the few people who remain. Is this not the moment we understand that in this life we only need a few kindred spirits to feel complete? Enough to know we are not truly alone on this evening train ride home. And once we have let go of the burden of solitude, ambition, and superfluous relationships, we begin to see another miracle, the value of small things and the connection with nature. Life suddenly becomes unbelievably simple. A beam of afternoon sunlight streaming through the window, a cup of tea brewed by our own hands, the sound of birds in the garden, or simply the gentle act of watching a single leaf fall. The things we rushed past and took for granted before now become the most precious gems. Why search for happiness in faraway places when it lies peacefully in the present moment, right in this old house, right in our very breath? Try it sometime, my friends. Sit quietly beneath a familiar tree in your garden, listening to the wind passing through the leaves. You will realize that you are a part of the universe's great flow, no longer a crucial person who must carry everything but just a tiny speck of dust embraced by the boundless peace of creation. That is when you truly find rest. We also realize that at this age, time has become the most valuable currency. Not money, but the days we have left. We no longer waste time on futile arguments, long-running soap operas that leave no lasting impression, or worries that are not worthwhile. We begin to prioritize what truly brings joy and meaning to our souls. Perhaps it is learning a new skill. We always dreamed of spending more time on a private hobby or simply sitting with a loved one and looking through old photo albums. Living fully in every moment, that is how we double our spiritual longevity. Finally, and this is the most sincere whisper, forgive yourself. In a lifetime, who hasn't made mistakes, who hasn't made wrong decisions that cause lingering regret? Do not hold on to those regrets like heavy stones in your heart any longer. The past is over, and all those mistakes have shaped the profound, understanding person you are today. Smile at the naive you of yesterday, soothe that self and gently lay it down. When we forgive ourselves, we also open our hearts to fully accept and love this life. The river of life continues to flow quietly, and the sun continues to set each day. But my dear friends, please do not fear the approaching darkness, for after the sunset there is a long, still night for contemplation, and after the long night the sun will rise again, radiant. The happiness of the twilight years is not found in how much we hold on to, but in how gently we have learned to let go. And when we have learned to rest and to sit in quiet stillness, we begin to hear the sounds that were once muffled by the noise of life. Have you noticed the way we look at a raindrop on the window pane is now very different from before? When we were young, we saw rain as a delay, an obstacle to work, a reason to be stuck indoors in frustration. But now the raindrop is simply a raindrop, a rhythm of the earth and sky, a freshness that arrives uninvited. We look at it and we see a whole miniature universe and the great tireless cycle of creation. Our gaze is no longer one of ownership or purpose, but purely contemplation. That is when we realize the beauty of impermanence and the constant laws of nature interwoven into every ordinary moment. Consider your small garden or simply a potted plant on your table. Its life, the reaching of a green sprout, the wilting of a yellow leaf, all gently teach us the lesson of birth, aging, sickness, and death. There is no judgment, no resistance. The leaves and plants accept change, accepting the law that they must let go to make room for new life. Should we not learn from the stillness of nature? Learn to accept that this body, this appearance, must also follow the earth's law, entering its autumn phase. Do not try to cling to the past spring with heavy makeup or clothes that are too young for your age. The beauty of old age lies in serenity, in the wrinkles around our eyes, when we smile in the light of wisdom, sparkling in eyes that have weathered many storms. This acceptance is not surrender, but an inner liberation from the harsh, irrational beauty standards of society. And from that liberation, another wonder emerges, the redefinition of wealth. All our lives, we thought wealth meant possessing a lot, houses, cars, money in the bank. But as we enter the evening, we understand that true wealth lies in things that money cannot buy. A good night's sleep without medication, a morning waking up without worry, a sincere hug from a grandchild, or simply the ability to walk on our own, to eat a meal independently. These are the diamonds, the priceless assets. Money can buy a luxurious bed, but not peaceful sleep. Money can buy medicine, but not health. When we realize this truth, the feeling of needing to accumulate, to compete, to worry about scarcity suddenly vanishes. We feel strangely complete, because the most precious things in life we already possess. This wealth is not in the account balance, but in the attitude of gratitude for what is present. Furthermore, as life enters this peaceful orbit, we begin to look differently at death. This is a topic people often avoid, especially when they are young and vigorous. But in our twilight years, death is no longer a frightening ghost, but a natural part of the journey. It's like seeing the sunset and knowing for sure that night will come. Are we afraid of the night? No, we see the night as a necessary rest, a preparation for a new dawn. Preparing for death is not negative waiting, but about living the remaining days as meaningfully as possible. This is the time to organize belongings, write those handwritten letters, speak the words of love held back for too long. This is the time to clean up the house of the soul, to be ready for a long journey. This journey is not an end, but a transition. We do not disappear. We merely dissolve into the eternal flow of the universe like a drop of water returning to the vast ocean. This serenity comes from accepting that we have lived a full life with every range of emotion and every necessary lesson. And having settled the past and made peace with the future, we suddenly find new energy to return to the art of presence. Do you remember the feeling when you were waiting for something important? We were always living in the future, always distracted by what had not yet arrived. But old age teaches us that no future is more important than this moment, this breath. The art of presence is the act of completely immersing ourselves in the ongoing action, even if it is just washing a bowl, folding a blanket, or peeling a potato. In that simple action, we find a natural form of meditation, a total focus. The washed bowl is not just a clean bowl, it is also a symbol of an unburdened soul. The neatly folded blanket is not just tidiness, it is the organization of the clutter in our minds. This is the philosophy of Zen, embedded in daily life, the way we find perfection in the imperfect. Try it sometime, my friends. When you are drinking tea, just drink tea. Feel the warmth of the cup in your hand, the faint aroma of the tea blending with the air, the slight bitterness dissolving on your tongue, and the pleasant sensation as the warm liquid goes down your throat. When we do everything with such attention, each day is no longer a boring, repetitive sequence, but a series of precious, irreplaceable moments. We no longer see time rushing through our fingers. Instead, we are holding and honoring every moment that passes. Is this not the true meaning of slowing down that the young often talk about? Slowing down is not doing less, it is doing everything more profoundly. And in those moments of presence, we begin to discover a deeper spiritual truth. The purpose of life is not to search, but to recognize. Our whole lives we rush to find a great purpose. The purpose of marriage, the purpose of work, the purpose of wealth. We thought purpose was a grand destination somewhere at the end of the road. But no, in old age we realize that purpose is not something that must be invented or sought. It has always been there. Our purpose is life itself, love, and the connection we have created. Your purpose now might simply be to be the best storyteller, grandpa or grandma, the most patient listener, or a kind neighbor who shares their freshly harvested vegetables. The purpose has shifted from doing to being. We don't need to do anything more to have value. We are already an existence of absolute value. This shift in perception also comes with re-evaluating the concept of success. Success in youth is fame and money earned. Success in old age is peace of mind. A successful person at 65 is not the one who still holds a big title, but the one who can sit alone without fear, the one who can look in the mirror and smile at their own reflection, the one who has cleared all conflicts and grudges in their heart. The failure of youth is material loss. The failure of old age is the regret of not having lived truthfully to one's emotions. Is not true success the reconciliation between the self of yesterday and the self of today? Is it the ability to lie down each night with a light mind, unburdened by a feud or a word of blame? And to achieve this reconciliation, we must confront the invisible legacy we leave behind. The young worry about material legacy, the house, the land. The elderly care about the spiritual legacy. Your legacy is not what is written on a tombstone, but how you made the people around you feel when they were with you. It is a sincere piece of advice, a story that has been retold, a lesson in patience that your grandchildren learned from how you dealt with illness. These are legacies that cannot be counted with money, that cannot be lost due to a stock market crash. It is the imprint of kindness we have left on this world, the seeds of love that continue to sprout in the hearts of those who remain. Speaking of kindness, we return to the relationship with the departed. At this age, we cannot avoid saying farewell to friends and loved ones who pass away. The pain is real, but the loss is also a doorway to continue nurturing love. Our relationship with them does not end when they depart. It transforms. We no longer converse with words, but through remembrance, through acts of kindness done in their name. We keep them alive in our hearts by continuing to do the things they loved, by mentioning their names at family gatherings, by keeping the flame of memory warm. Is this not the way we defeat death, not by the immortality of the body, but by the immortality of love and the unbroken connection between souls? When we accept all of this impermanence, presence, true wealth, death, and the invisible legacy, we finally achieve what is called the state of total surrender. It is not apathy, but the absolute acceptance of everything as it is, without resistance, without judgment. Like a dry leaf leaving a branch, we surrender without fear of falling, because we know that Mother Earth will support us and we will become nourishment for a new life. This surrender also extends to the relationship with our own aging body. We no longer view the aches, pains, and minor ailments as enemies to be fought to the death, but as unavoidable companions of age. This body has served us so well for decades. It has carried every burden and endured every storm with us. Now, when it begins to tire, instead of blaming it, we learn to treat it with gentleness and gratitude. We listen to its groans as we would listen to the whisper of a friend who needs rest. We care for it, not with the desire to return it to its prime, but to ensure it can accompany us as gently and comfortably as possible in these final chapters. This is unconditional love for ourselves, a kind of love we were too busy giving to others that we forgot to give to ourselves first. And from that gentle care, a new inspiration blossoms, the return to the creative instinct. When the pressure of work and raising children is gone, our soul suddenly feels light enough to soar freely. Many people at this age begin to write poetry, paint, learn a musical instrument, or simply meticulously craft handmade items. These activities are not aimed at earning money or gaining recognition, but purely to nurture the intrinsic joy within. Creativity in one's twilight years is the expression of the soul, requiring neither perfection nor external judgment. It is the way we reconnect with our inner child, the child who was once fascinated by exploring the world with endless curiosity but was buried under the weight of responsibility and adulthood. Is not art the shortest path back to our purest essence? When we have found peace and joy in simple things and quiet creation, we realize a final truth: the new role of the elderly in society. We are no longer the builders, the competitors in the economic cycle. Instead, we become the anchors of wisdom and stability. Your role is not to chase the world, but to uphold core values, to be the place where children and grandchildren can return to listen to stories of their roots of resilience and of human kindness. We are the gatekeepers of memory, the great storytellers carrying a treasury of life experience. Cherish this role, for it requires neither muscle strength nor reaction speed, but demands stillness, understanding, and boundless compassion. This is the time to pass on the torch, rather than extinguish our flame. We transmit warmth rather than completely retreat. My dear friends, the journey through the twilight years is a great metamorphosis. It is not a loss, but a refinement. We strip away the unnecessary to retain the core, the bright essence of a soul that has weathered every up and down. True peace is not the absence of storms, but the ability to sit in the middle of the storm and keep one's soul still. Before concluding this heart-to-heart talk, I send you my deepest wishes. May you continue to live with the curiosity of a child, the patience of a philosopher, and the boundless love of one who truly understands the nature of life. If you found a sense of peace, a bit of kinship in these words, please leave a like as a greeting, like a warm handshake from afar, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue these deep conversations, lighting the lighthouse of the soul together. I look forward to our next heartfelt talk. I wish you the deepest serenity, and may you have many more precious moments of presence.